Hello and welcome to another episode of Seeing Red. This is week 4 and the Cornhuskers take on the Michigan Wolverines in Lincoln. Let's get into it. Week 4, Michigan Wolverines coming to town. A little bit of overview first. Michigan is 2-1 with wins at Central Michigan and New Mexico State and a loss on the road to Oklahoma. Their offensive identity is more of a running game with the emphasis on controlling the line of scrimmage. They use a lot of tight ends, fullbacks, H-backs. Oftentimes you'll see them pull extra linemen and put them on the field as like a tight end, create an unbalanced set. On defense, the Wolverines like to play a lot of man defense and blitz. They have a 5-2 front, so there's 5 defensive linemen. They have 3 big run defenders, defensive tackles, and then 2 edge rushers, and then they have 2 linebackers on the field. A lot of times they're going to be blitzing, even though they have 5 deep down linemen. So there's an emphasis on getting the ball out quick if you're the offense, putting pressure on you, and hoping they can get their hands in passing lanes and create turnovers, interceptions, deflections. So we'll see that on defense as well. Getting a little bit more in depth with Michigan's offense. Like I said, they like to run the ball. If they do pass it, it's usually going to be a play action or like a deep shot play. They use a lot of pistol formations. They'll use some shotgun and then some pro stuff where it'll be like I or single back. They have an incredibly talented running back, Justice Haynes, number 22. Their backup's pretty solid as well, but number 22 is going to be the main factor in this game if we can stop him. The other factor is obviously their quarterback, Bryce Underwood. He was the number 1 recruit coming out of last year, number 1 quarterback. Michigan reportedly paid him $10 million to come there. The kid is incredibly talented. He's very good at football. He's fast. He's got a rocket arm, but he's still 18, 19 years old, and he's still learning. So you'll see that on tape. You'll see the ball just jumps out of his arms. He's got a really good arm, throws a nice ball, but sometimes it's 10 yards over somebody's head or off target. Against Central Michigan, they drew up a shot play, and rather than set his feet and throw it, he threw on the run off his back foot, and it was like fielding a punt for the interception. So he doesn't make a ton of those, but you still see some of those fresh mistakes. So hopefully we'll be able to capitalize on that. Against Central Michigan, their offensive coaching staff turned him loose a little bit more and allowed Bryce to run. In the first 2 games, New Mexico State and Oklahoma, he almost never ran, and even when he was about to run, he would throw it downfield. So you can see that was something the coaching staff was trying to limit his running, not his ability to run, but how often he runs, and that might just be a development thing, or just trying to make sure he's not getting injured running all the time. Their O-line, despite being a run-heavy team, is not phenomenal. Their left guard is like a senior captain, and he might be one of the worst O-linemen. He got injured against Oklahoma, and I believe he came out of the game. And then number 70 got injured as well. I'm not sure how injured they were, but I wasn't blown away by their offensive line. So I think our defensive line, while not being the strength of our team, should be able to compete with those guys. They have a wide receiver, number 1, who can make some big plays, but the receivers are kind of iffy. Sometimes they're dropping balls that are hitting them in the hands. And their offense reminds me of ours under Satterfield, where it feels kind of disjointed. You're not sure what they're doing or what the setup and what the payoff is. Sometimes they'll get a good play, but drives seem very disjointed, which is a good thing for us. Another big issue for them would be third downs. They're 36th in the country, which doesn't sound that bad, but a lot of people are kind of bunched up right now because it's so early in the season. So, for example, they're converting at 44%, which is less than half, and is not good. For example, Nebraska's 3rd in the country, and they're converting third downs at 65%. So much better conversion rate there for Nebraska. That's nearly 2 out of every 3 versus less than half. Michigan's whole identity as an offense is going to be get yards on 1st and 2nd down so they can be in 3rd and short, and they don't have to throw deep. So if we can force them into 2nd and long, 3rd and long, that'll be a good day for Nebraska. We got to blitz and get tackles for loss on early downs. This will also help us with play action because if they're not running, they're likely going to be doing play action on an early down, and the play action takes time to develop. So we can either attack the mesh point or the QB and then get sacks. Another benefit from to blitzing would be that young quarterbacks, especially Bryce, I've seen on the tape, will drop their eyes, start to run and try and scramble away from the blitz rather than finding where the blitz came from and throwing behind it, which is what they're supposed to do. Conversely, on the opposite side of the ball, Dylan needs to be able to throw hot as well, and that's something that he struggled with last year. So, like I said earlier, Michigan likes to blitz a lot and they play a lot of man defense. Two things that last year Dylan was not great at. Didn't do well against man, didn't do well when he was blitzed. So it's going to be a big test for him to see how much he's grown, see how willing he is to get the ball out quick and let playmakers get loose and break tackles versus trying to push the ball downfield a bunch. There will be opportunities to push the ball downfield, especially on double moves, but he's got to be patient. Okay. We already talked about them having a 5-2 front. They have a solid defense. There was no one guy that just jumped out on the tape, but they do have a defensive end. I think his name is Barsham, number 1, that was really good. He was flying around making tackles, fast off that edge. So he's somebody to look out for. And I mentioned this earlier. They do a really good job of getting in the passing lanes and tipping balls and getting deflections and interceptions. I think I saw one in each game. So that's something that continues to show up on tape. So even though they blitz a lot and they leave some men open, it's not always so easy to complete the pass because you have a defender in your face blitzing you. It's going to lay you out whether you get rid of it or not. And then the D line doesn't get a ton of push, but they do a good job getting their hands up and tipping those passes at the line of scrimmage. So that's something to keep an eye on. New Mexico State had a lot of success against Michigan, leaking guys out of the backfield late. They use their tight end because that's their best receiver, but they would hold him into block and they would do delayed screens. Some of the stuff you see us doing with Lindenmeyer, where he stays in as a blocker and then after a second or two he releases late and he's wide open for like a 2-yard pass and they'll run for about 10 yards. Another thing that I saw on tape that Michigan struggled with was late shifts. New Mexico State would shift late, and then Michigan, since they're in man, they would have to find out whose man was who, and they would talk, and then New Mexico State would snap the ball, and they would just kind of run with whoever was closest to them. Same token, when they used bunch sets, it really confused the Michigan defense, and they just tried to run with the closest guy and figure it out on the fly. I feel like a good offensive coordinator would be able to take advantage of that. So we got bunch shifts, we got motion. The other aspect is how often their defense is on the field. Our offense theoretically should be able to put together long drives, but we might score quickly. Their offense, with it being disjointed, they run the ball so they hold on to a little bit, but if we can get them in quick 3-and-outs and keep their defense on the field and put together long drives, we should be able to wear out their defense and put pressure on their offense. When the offense isn't on the field, it doesn't feel comfortable. When the defense can't get off the field, it feels like it never gets a break, and then they break down and start to, little things become big things at that point.
We're going to take a look at a couple plays from Michigan's offense to understand the ideas behind it. It's a pretty simple idea. Michigan has a run-heavy offense, so you have to meet them at the point of attack or at the line of scrimmage in order to mitigate that, or otherwise they're going to get 3-4 yards of carry and just grind you into a dust. So it's essential that you neutralize that for no gain or a loss early on. So the whole idea is to get you running forward to the line of scrimmage and to throw behind you or get you flowing in one direction and hit you with a reverse. So if you're not running forward, getting to the line of scrimmage, they're going to eat you alive 3-4 yards at a time. The second you start over pursuing, they're going to try and throw behind you with a double move, with play action, or they're going to try and catch you flowing to the point of attack and then hit you with a reverse. So we'll look at a couple different plays. The first one's going to be a run play, which is the setup, and then the other two plays are going to be play action and a reverse, which is the counter plays or the payoff plays, as I like to call them. This first setup play is a run-heavy play. It's almost a goal line formation where you have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. 2 of them are actually extra linemen, so you have 7 offensive linemen instead of 5. You have a fullback / tight end. You have one wide receiver. Central Michigan's only got 4 down linemen here and 3 linebackers, but they do a really good job of mitigating this run and plugging up all the gaps. So you'll see the outside linebacker up top here has force can't contain, so the running back can't get out that way. These 2 linebackers have contained to the bottom of the screen as well as the safety, so the running back can't go that way, so he's forced into the middle. And then this last safety, make sure he comes up and meets him for a tackle to, I think it's like a 2 or 3 yard gain. The next play we're going to look at is a reverse or an end around from Michigan. And they do a really good job of getting everybody flowing in one direction. CMU's trying to meet them in the hole. And then they pitch it to the wide receiver on the end around here. And they've got a free blocker, and he just beats him to the corner of the end zone. This next 2 plays are actually the same play, and Michigan runs it twice. So CMU is going to flow up to stop the run, and they're going to hit him with play action and throw it behind him. So we'll watch it here in the first quarter. They don't complete it, but then they come back in the second quarter, and there's actually better coverage, and end up completing it. We're just going to look at one play from the Michigan defense, and it's against Oklahoma. Michigan sends a blitz, and the Oklahoma running back acts like he's going to pick up the blitz in coverage, but he ends up just slipping out of the backfield, and Mateer hits him for what's essentially a screen with no blockers, a little slip pass, and then he gets a first down. All right, guys, that's it for the breakdown this week. So again, our keys on offense: get the ball out before the blitz gets to Dylan, hit him with some double moves, some delayed slip screens with the tight ends and running backs, and then on defense, we just got to stop the running game. It's the biggest key. All right. Go Big Red.